Happy Halloween, everyone. How you guys doing? My name is Matt Jarbo. Welcome to $3 Theater. And today I'm going to be reviewing Hubie Halloween, the brand new Adam Sandler Halloween movie to drop on Netflix, I believe yesterday. It came out on the 7th. I watched it last night. And to be fair, I wasn't too sure what to think going into this movie, mostly because the trailer didn't really wow me. Even though I do enjoy Adam Sandler movies, in fact, a couple of years ago, I proclaimed my love of him as an actor one day, and it cost me 300 YouTube subscribers in that single day, and I still catch an absolute buttload of trash for it. I stand by my previous convictions. I have always loved Adam Sandler, and I will always love Adam Sandler. And this is a movie that if you are an Adam Sandler fan, especially one for well over 20 years, or nearly 30 years, you are going to realize that this is a love letter to you. Hubie Halloween is an absolute love letter to Sandler fans. If I was going to summarize it at all, think of it like this. It's like an Adam Sandler cinematic universe. It's callbacks to so many of his previous movies. And I'm pretty certain that I missed a number of them that were in here, but there are a few that were quite blatant. We're going to talk about that though. First, let's talk about the story, which was probably the weakest part of the movie itself. I mean, it was a good story, but the character of Hubie Dubois is definitely one that it takes a little bit of getting used to, right? Adam Sandler doing funny voiced characters is nothing new. Billy Madison, the Water Boy, Little Nicky. I mean, like, you know, it's exactly what we know about Adam Sandler. This is the kind of stuff he's known for. And this time around, it's no different, which is one of the things I did find to be a bit endearing about the movie, even if I didn't necessarily like the character of Hubie myself. I mean, he's a very good-natured, good-spirited, good-hearted, moral individual, and that's what his entire thing is. But it's just also like everyone treats him like crap. Everyone just completely dogs on him, and it's like you can kind of see it because he does get a little bit annoying. But it's a weird place to be. He reminded me heavily of this guy that I went to high school with and then I worked with for a number of years, who was like that. Ultimately good-hearted, in my opinion. But not all the way there, you know, and that was something that people made fun of him for. And you know, so I kind of had a little bit of connection to that in that regard. And so to me, the character became more endearing as time went on. But what was great about this movie was the premise. And I'm not going to lie, I really did love the premise here. So what cracked me up the most was the story basically plays upon almost every single Halloween trope you can think of. It starts off with a breakout from a mental institution where a guy, Rich Hartman, hasn't been seen in 20 years, so no one knows what he looks like anymore. He's on the loose throughout the town. We see him pop up multiple times. We don't quite know what he's doing. Is he the bad guy? Is he not the bad guy? Clearly the movie wants us to think that he's the bad guy. And then from there, we also get the crazy, creepy neighbor that may or may not be a werewolf, played excellently by Steve Buscemi. We've got the, you know, the town sheriff played by Kevin James, who looks like he came right from the 1980s, like he was a 1980s movie sheriff sort of thing. Totally overconfident, totally over the top. Definitely Kevin James. You had Kenan Thompson show up as as a deputy. You know, there's like Maya Rudolph, Tim Meadows, Colin Quinn showed up. All of these SNL players, Mikey Day from current SNL, Melissa Villaseñor from current SNL, they show up in the movie. There's a lot of bit players that are popular in that SNL sphere. That is one of the things I really did love about this movie. To me, this movie also felt like a love letter to SNL casts, both new and old. And while I would have loved to have seen some other maybe cast members from SNL show up every once in a while, I also was very happy with who we got. Also Rob Schneider, because Rob Schneider makes an appearance in the movie a couple times, and even that was a kind of a twist they threw at you. that was actually pretty remarkably funny. And but the whole thing is just, it's this very stupid premise. It's, you know, there's Halloween night in Salem, Massachusetts. 70,000 people are going to be going through the city. It's their biggest tourism night of the year, and there is some kind of person on the loose kidnapping people. And Hubie, Dubois is trying to go out there and he's trying to solve the problem because he wants to protect Halloween. He is the Halloween monitor. He wants to make sure that everyone can have a good time. The whole time, Julie Bowen is back. Victoria Valentine, the girl that he's known since kindergarten, that he's been in love with since the second grade. who has three foster children. She's now back in town and she's clearly into him and he's into her, but like they don't even really talk about anything. It's such a weird thing too. It's like you could see him being into her, but then when you find out she's like 100% into him, even more so than he's into her, it's definitely a little bit on the weird side, right? It's not your traditional type of situation in these movies. But also, again, the two of them were great together in Happy Gilmore back in '96. So it was awesome seeing them reunited, and they still actually have a fair amount of chemistry after all this time. Sadly, no Christopher McDonald in the movie, and no Carl Weathers in the movie. So there wasn't Shooter McGavin or Chubbs. And that, I think that was a missed opportunity, to be fair. Michael Chiklis shows up as a priest. I mean, as much as I enjoy Michael Chiklis, and I do, the Commish, the Shield, the Thing, I love that guy. I still think that would have been a better role for Christopher McDonald, who is still acting. He's still around. Or maybe even Carl Weathers as the town mayor, or some other role they could have put Carl Weathers in, but he was probably off doing Mandalorian, so he was not able to do it, but it is what it is. My favorite cameo, though, was Shaq. When we find out that the nighttime DJ Aurora, is really Shaq with a radio voice, I was rolling in laughter. And then his wife was, I don't know the actress's name, but she played Dabby on the show Disjointed, also on Netflix. And that show is severely underrated, unfortunately canceled after one season. And, but she was on there and I love her. She just she's a very physical comedian and she throws her whole self into everything she's into. And she did a fantastic job as his wife. And it was crazy to see. You guys got to see it. It was so funny. The movie, again, to me, like when I call it like a cinematic universe sort of thing, you do catch a few callbacks to some of Adam Sandler's old buddies. Alan Covert is not only a producer in the movie, he has a very brief cameo as the zombie dad or the zombie teenager's father at the drive-in. One of the other guys that showed up a bunch, he was kind of like the dim-witted one who was in, like the guy who had the monkey in Grandma's Boy. Like, you know who I'm talking about if you're an old Happy Madison fan. I never remember his name. He actually had a vocal cameo in the movie as just like a cop from another town. And that's all we get to hear. It's like we just hear him talking. We don't ever get to see him. And it's like, that kind of sucked. And then the dude with like the lazy eye, that guy, he never showed up. But you had a bunch of other people that were all included with the Sandler or the Sandler verse, really. And that's what I loved about it was they had references to Billy Madison like crazy. You had the O'Doyle kids and that they were punks and that they were bastards and that the O'Doyles rule. You heard O'Doyle rules in the movie. Like they actually had it. And at the end, he ends up losing. And I love that. You had the same woman from in Billy Madison when they go to the Amish town. And she was the one who was saying like, I forget the line, but it was about like kids peeing themselves, right? She shows up in the movie. She has a couple scenes in the movie. It was like, oh my God, what are you doing here? Like, what is happening? Like we haven't seen her. I haven't seen her in anything since Billy Madison back in like what, 95. So, seeing her in the movie was great. All the little throwbacks were great. All the little callbacks, the little jokes. Steve Buscemi as the werewolf was fantastic because when we see him start to transition, he's wearing the same clothes, the blue shirt and the khaki pants that he was wearing in Billy Madison. So again, he was wearing the exact same clothes he was wearing back in Billy Madison. And I really loved it. I thought it was really funny. Like I said, the movie is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. The plot is ridiculous. It's so dumb, but that's okay. Like, that's okay. It's not a movie you're going to watch and think this is intellectual comedy. It's not a movie you're going to watch and you're going to laugh your ass off at because you think it's very highbrow. It's exceptionally lowbrow, but it's good-natured and it's good-hearted, and it was funny. Like, it was really funny. It was so stupid at parts, too. Parts where I was like, oh, this is too far. But, like, Maya Rudolph and Tim Meadows and their whole discussion about their relationship and how, like, he's trying to get with her. Like, they're married, and he's like, I want to hook up. And she's like, no. I mean, like all the way through the movie, she's just dumping on him for everything. And it's funny because it's SNL players. It's Tim Meadows and it's Maya Rudolph, who I'm big fans of both people. Ray Liotta pops up as the bad guy. Like, what the hell's Ray Liotta doing in the movie? I don't know. He's being a dick. So it's Ray Liotta. Like, it's a fun movie. People are going to bash on this movie. I don't even know what the Rotten Tomatoes score of it is. I know Netflix didn't give away any preview copies on it. And I don't even care. I don't even care, guys. Like, this movie to me was just pure unadulterated Adam Sandler fun. And it's the kind of fun that I feel like I haven't watched in quite some time, which is why I'm totally down to watch this again with people who haven't seen it, but are also Adam Sandler fans like I am, who grew up with Adam Sandler in the 90s on SNL and in the movies. Like, this is for us. Never mind the fact that Tim Herlihy and Adam Sandler co-wrote the script was total icing on the cake for me. So yes, I recommend you guys give it a watch. If you're old school Adam Sandler fans, or even if you're new school Adam Sandler fans, check it out. It's a dumb movie. And guess what? That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. So hopefully I can find someone who has seen it, who may want to do a podio commentary, long form discussion on it, like a 45-minute to an hour long discussion on the movie. And if that's something you're interested in, let me know down in the comments section. I really appreciate you guys watching this. If you want to see more reviews of Netflix movies or just movies in general, recommend me something to watch and I'll give it a go. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day. Thank you again for watching, and definitely check out Hubie Halloween. I think you will be pleasantly surprised at how bad it is, but at the same time, how much fun it is to watch. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have yourself a good one, and peace out.